Hey, curious minds, welcome again to Quick Projects, where history's most incredible transformations come alive. Today, we're heading to Southeast Asia, where a tiny island with no resources, no army, and no fresh water shocked the entire world by rising to unimaginable heights. We're talking about Singapore. Yes, that shiny little futuristic city state. But rewind to 1965 and it was anything but glamorous. Singapore was kicked out of Malaysia, left to fend for itself. Its neighboring countries thought it wouldn't last a year. But one man, Lee Kuan Yew, had a vision so bold, so ruthless, that it turned this struggling nation into one of the greatest success stories in modern history. Picture this: Singapore in 1965, a swampy island with 2 million people crammed into slums. There's no army to defend, no natural resources to trade, and even fresh water had to be imported. Malaysia, its biggest and richest neighbor, cut off its water supply, thinking Singapore would come crawling back. But Lee Yu had other plans. We will survive, we will grow, and we will show them all, he declared. His first move? Survival at all costs. He built the strongest army in Southeast Asia almost overnight. His message to hostile neighbors was pretty clear: we'd love to be friends, but if you want trouble, we're ready. With survival secured, the master plan began. And wow, this was no another ordinary strategy. First, the language barrier. Singapore adopted English as its main language to unite its people and attract global business and talent. Second, corruption. Zero tolerance. You take a bribe, you're out. Period. Lee Yu didn't stop there. He demolished slums and built public housing. But there's the kicker. He forced Chinese, Indians, and Malays to live together. No ethnic enclaves. It was radical, it was controversial, but it worked. Then came the economic miracle. Singapore didn't have oil or gold or land, but it had one thing: location. Lee turned the island into a global trade hub. He built the world's best ports, invited multinational companies, and guaranteed zero corruption. Education? He flipped the system upside down. English became mandatory. Schools focused on tech and engineering. The brightest minds were sent abroad to learn and then return. Teachers were paid top salaries because, as Lee put it, if you want the best, you pay for the best. By 1990, the numbers told the story. GDP soared from $1,500 to $22,000 per person. 90% of Singaporeans owned homes, up from 25%. Literacy rate jumped from 50% to 95%, and corruption virtually zero. Today, Singapore ranks third globally in GDP per capita, boasts the world's best education system, and has living standards that rival or even surpass the US and UK. Lee Yu once said, I'm not interested in democracy, I'm interested in what works. And love him or hate him, his methods worked. He proved that sometimes the hardest choices deliver the greatest results. From the third world despair to the first world dominance in just one generation. So here's my question for you: do the ends justify the means when it comes to nation building? Drop your thoughts in the comment section or tag me on social media. I'd love to hear from you. This was Manpreet, and you've been listening to Quick Projects. Don't forget to follow, share, and subscribe for more such content that shaped our world. Till then, stay curious.